focus on a single topic that can help meet your dog's physical, social, and mental needs. This is enrichment. Enrichment is environmental stimulation and can include physical exercise, chews, interactive games with you, new sights, sounds, and scents. It can be variety and new challenges. Zoos have recognized the importance of enrichment. Animals in the wild spend hours searching for food, and they're hardwired to enjoy this behavior. Here are just a few of the many ideas you can use to enrich your dog's environment and life. Dogs are predators and enjoy the game of chase. You can tie a toy onto a rope and drag it around as an outlet for your dog's natural chase desires. Here's a toy made for this purpose. It's on a lunge line and called the tail teaser. I'm going to show you a few food puzzles now. This is a kibble nibble. You just put the dog's kibble in it, close it up, and let the dog figure out how to get the kibble out. Sylvie's an expert at it, as you'll see. Some dogs need more challenging puzzles, but Sylvie eats pretty slowly to begin with, so this works for her. And this is a tug-a-jug. Normally it has a rope in it, which slows down the kibble from coming out so fast. But Sarge is still entertained by it. This treat ball can have the size of the hole set to accommodate different sizes of kibble and make for different challenges. So here's Sylvie showing us how it's done. This is a treat maze. It's a little more challenging. The dog has to figure out how to get it on the right angle to get the treats out. And here is the dog brick. I loaded it with a treat under each sliding compartment and under each bone for the dogs to figure out. They use their nose to determine that there's food in there and then figure out how to get it with their paw or mouth. Every dog does it a little bit differently, just as every dog has unique likes and dislikes. You can see Sarge here taking his time to get a single treat and any crumbs out of every compartment. Studies have been done with dogs that show they prefer food puzzles to a bowl of food. You can Google dog food puzzles for a lot more options. Here's the dog finder, which has about 30 bones. Here I've only loaded up about 4 of the bones with a treat under them. But you can see that all these puzzles extend the time it takes for the dog to eat his meal and make it more interesting. Some other ideas are the Nylabone Romp and Chomp, which has little crevices to put treats or peanut butter in, and it can be frozen. You may already have a Kong or two. These are chew toys and can also be stuffed with food for a challenge and frozen as well. There are even recipes online that you can find. This one just has a little bit of peanut butter in it. A little goes a long way in these food puzzles. Also from Kong is a Squirrel Dude. I just love the name of this. It has a little smaller hole than the Kong, so it can be a little more challenging to get the treats out. Sylvie's method here is quite effective. Just stand it up and let the treats come out. Good job. Here's the Kong Quest Critter. It's a durable rubber that can massage the dog's gums. Okay, Sarge. Enjoying this. So you don't have to go out and buy food puzzles. You can make your own. Here's a muffin tin with tennis balls covering the kibble. You can use cardboard boxes or paper bags or empty food containers to make food puzzles for your dog's kibble. Or just toss the kibble around the house or in a room for your dog to find. You just want to supervise with many of these for safety. Again, food puzzles stimulate the natural foraging behavior and provide an energy outlet for the dog. I've also emailed you a document with some other enrichment ideas to have fun for you and your dog. And now for your homework. This is fun. You're going to get your dog's food and hand feed him. Just get his regular meal or part of it, sit in a chair or sit on the floor, and you're going to control the resource, not the dog, which means here I'm covering up the food, waiting till he stops trying to get it, and then I'll uncover it and start feeding him. One kibble at a time or maybe a handful at a time, but we're just having a good time here. So some of the benefits of hand feeding are it builds a strong bond, adds focus, slows down speedy eaters, builds trust. You can practice known behaviors or teach new ones. You can hand feed your dog without having him do anything. Here's our just staring at the food, but that's okay. We're having a good time together. If you want your dog to say please by doing a behavior he knows, here's a tip. Give clear cues. That means don't send a lot of extraneous messages by moving or talking a lot. Here I ask Sarge to nose touch with my hand, but I'm not moving or playing with the treats as I do so. Touch, and then I treat. And here I ask him for a paw touch, and then I treat. And a twofer, a threefer. And varying the amount of reinforcers can be motivating. Here he gives me eye contact, so I'll reward that also. When you're training, you are conditioning an emotional state at the same time. Remember the learning by association? So if the dog is having a good time when you're training eye contact, for example, then eye contact becomes associated with positive things. So the take home is don't stress out the dog when you're training. What to bring to class? First, you'll need a buckle collar. This is just a safety tool to connect the leash to. Or if your dog tends to pull out of his collar, you can use a martingale. This is a limited slip type of collar. Or if you don't want to put pressure on your dog's collar, you can use a body harness. You'll also need a 4 to 6 foot leash, either leather or nylon, no chain. You just need one leash. And you'll also need a mat or a towel. This is a memory foam bath mat, waterproof on the bottom, can be washable. It's very soft and comfortable for the dog. Or a towel will work. You'll need one or the other. The mat is probably more comfortable for your dog. And we'll need to choose a clicker or a marker. This is the clicker that you saw earlier. And here are just some ideas for a marker word, which you'll need, and we'll talk more about in class, but be thinking about which word you'd like to use for a marker, or bring a clicker if you prefer a clicker. You'll also need some doggy waste bags as a responsible pet owner, and a treat pouch. There are many types. You need some that you can take off of your body to put down if we are going to be doing that. So not just your pocket. There's hinge types, magnetic types. You may already have some bags that will work. This is a crossbody bag or a fanny pack here. And then we need to fill it with some treats. Remember that enthusiasm for a behavior is proportional to the enthusiasm for the reinforcer. As I've mentioned, food is not the only reinforcer you can use in training, but it is one of the most convenient ones for teaching new behaviors. And dogs don't have to eat special food formulated for dogs as treats. Fresh, real, healthy food works great as treats. Just know your dog. Here are some practical ideas for you. I like to use real meat. This is salmon burgers or turkey. It's really high value for the dogs, and you can break it up into tiny pieces, which works great. What I do is pre-cook it and then break it up into pieces and freeze it in separate containers, and then I can pull out what I need for training. Here's some steak. I'll just pull out a bit of steak for training, let it thaw out for a few minutes, and it's really high value for the dog. Here's some commercial treats you can get. It's rolled food. This is Pet Botanics, and I also cut this up into smaller pieces and stick them in the freezer so they last. Beef jerky is another great training treat. You can also use fruits and vegetables, depending on what your dog likes. Some will go crazy for kale, but know your dog. Here's some foods dogs should not eat. You can pause this if you want to look over it more. And peanut butter is another high value treat that works great for training. And what I like to do is get a little tube. This is called a goo tube from a camping store, and I just fill it with peanut butter, and then I can use this for a messy-free way to treat my dog with peanut butter. You can also use your dog's kibble productively in training. It's small, bite-sized. Sometimes it's not as high value for the dog, but you could try different varieties of kibble. Check out dogfoodadvisor.com for the how many stars your dog food adds up to. And then I like to create a little mixture of a variety of foods, especially the small bite kibble. That works well because it is easy and quick for the dog to ingest. And then you can also use some just commercial dog treats. Look for the healthy stuff, and small, soft is the best. Doggy trail mix, here's an idea. Just use some little chicken and other treats broken up small. And here is an interesting idea for tricks. It's a lickety stick. It's broth, looks like roll-on deodorant, but it just gives your dog a lick of a treat, which they enjoy. Here are some optional ideas for class. If you like, bring something for your dog to chew on or stay busy with. Here's a bully stick he could chew on. I ordered these online. Or you could bring a Kong with some stuff in it to keep him occupied. If your dog already uses a head halter, you can bring that. I prefer the Halti brand. It fits better. So don't use this if your dog is not already accustomed to wearing one, because it does take some time to condition them. If you use it, I do prefer using 2 points of contact rather than just one, but it does work well for not putting pressure on the dog's neck if they pull. If your dog uses an Easy Walk harness, or if you'd like to use it, I showed it to you earlier with Sarge. It is a management tool and will also be working on loose leash walking, but you can use this if you'd prefer. And this is a Thunder shirt. If your dog already uses this and it helps your dog to be more calm or relaxed or less anxious, feel free to bring it. It certainly helps Sylvie with thunder phobia. And what not to bring to class, just a few things here. We don't need a choke chain. One use for a choke chain is if your dog chews on the leash, you can attach the choke chain to the collar and then attach your leash to the chain, and your dog won't want to chew the chain part of the leash. Flexi or extendable leash, I have these, but we won't use them for group class. And remember, we're going to be outside in the grass, and so wear comfortable shoes. Thank you for taking time to watch this orientation. I think it's awesome that you're interested in training for your dog, and I'm happy to help you. Let's start catching our dogs in the act of getting it right. See you in class.